From village struggle to sudden mansion life, this story opens like a miracle that nobody saw coming. The kind of breakthrough that makes even the strongest pain start to feel like it had a purpose. But as we already know with Nollywood stories, when life changes too quickly, joy and danger often enter the same room together. And this is where Nwa Mommy begins to pull us in emotionally. There is something very relatable about stories like this. A family that has suffered, a mother who has carried pain silently, children who have watched hardship grow like a shadow in the house. Then suddenly, one person rises and everything changes overnight. But before we go deeper, if you have not watched this movie on OniLX TV, pause here. Go and experience it fully first. Don't let anyone spoil the emotions for you. Watch it, feel it, then come back and continue this review. And when you return, drop your thoughts in the comments because this one will definitely divide opinions. Also, if you enjoy deep, emotional, interactive Nollywood breakdowns like this, make sure you subscribe to Flicks and Feels, because this is where we don't just summarize movies. We feel them, break them down, and talk about the hidden emotions inside the story. Now, let's enter it properly. The first major emotional shock in the movie comes when Obi brings his mother into a massive mansion. The type of house that immediately makes you question reality. The kind of house where even walking inside feels like stepping into another world. The mother's reaction is pure confusion at first. She looks around slowly, trying to understand if this is real or if her son has simply brought her into someone else's rented apartment. That confusion is very important because it reflects how far removed she is from the kind of life her son has now entered. Then Obi finally drops the line, "Mama, this is your son's house." That moment changes everything. You can literally feel the shift in emotion. Shock, disbelief, joy, fear, gratitude, all mixing together at once. The mother cannot even process it immediately because her mind is still stuck in years of suffering. A life of struggle does not disappear in one sentence. And that is what makes the scene powerful. Because success doesn't just change your present, it tries to rewrite your past pain. Then Obi begins to speak from his heart, and this is where the emotional depth of the movie becomes stronger. He acknowledges everything his mother went through after his father died. He talks about how she carried the family alone, how she sacrificed everything just to make sure they survived. That moment is important because it is not just about money, it is about recognition. Many viewers watching this will relate deeply because in many families, mothers suffer quietly without applause, without recognition, without appreciation. So when a child finally acknowledges that pain, it hits differently. The mother breaks emotionally. You can see gratitude in her expression, not just happiness about the house, but emotional relief that her sacrifices were not wasted. Then Obi explains how his life changed. Foreign investors came in, his business expanded, money started flowing, opportunities opened, and suddenly the family that was struggling yesterday is now stepping into wealth. The reaction is immediate. Joy everywhere, shouting, laughter, screaming, thanksgiving. That type of happiness where nobody is even standing still. Everybody is moving, reacting, thanking God in different ways. It feels like a long-awaited prayer has finally been answered. And for a moment, everything feels perfect. But Nollywood rarely allows perfect to last too long. As the family begins adjusting to this new life, we start to see subtle changes in behavior and mindset. The younger brother, especially, becomes a key focus. The moment he realizes there is money now, his attitude shifts quickly. He enters full enjoyment mode, spending freely, acting like there was no limit, celebrating like wealth is something that cannot finish. This is one of those character details that feels very realistic. Sudden access to money often exposes how people think about value. Some people become careful, others become reckless. And the movie starts hinting that this new wealth might not be handled with the same discipline by everyone in the family. But at this point, nobody is thinking deeply yet because happiness is still fresh. Then Obi introduces another major turning point. He talks about marriage. He reveals that he is thinking of settling down with a woman he has been seeing for a while. He wants to take things seriously. He wants to bring her into the family. He wants to move forward in life. This moment changes the tone slightly. At first, it feels beautiful. A successful man wanting to build a home, a family celebrating his happiness. The sister immediately becomes excited and starts giving playful advice like lashes, makeup, lip gloss, and all those funny but relatable suggestions women give when preparing to meet a future bride. That part brings lightness into the story. It shows normal family excitement. It shows love still exists in the home despite the sudden wealth. For a moment, everything feels balanced. But slowly, tension begins to build underneath. Mama's reaction starts to shift. At first, she tries to smile. She tries to be happy. But deep inside, something else begins to form. Not hatred, not anger, but fear. And that fear becomes the turning point of the story. Because suddenly, marriage is no longer just a celebration. It becomes a question. What happens when another woman enters this house? What happens if she changes him? What happens if the attention shifts away from the family? What happens if everything they are enjoying now becomes uncertain? These questions are not spoken loudly at first, but they are clearly forming in her mind. And this is where the emotional conflict begins, because love and fear are now sitting in the same space. Then a strong statement comes up. She is coming to reap where she did not sow. That line alone carries heavy emotional meaning. It shows a mindset of protection, but also a mindset of ownership. Because when someone believes a future partner is reaping, it suggests that everything the man has belongs fully to the family, and anyone new is an outsider. This is where the story becomes deeper than just wealth and happiness. It becomes about emotional boundaries, about attachment, about fear of replacement. Then the younger brother supports this fear, and suddenly the conversation changes direction. They begin to talk like something must be done, like something must be stopped. And that is where viewers already start sensing danger. Because in Nollywood storytelling, once family members begin to plan against a relationship they haven't even fully understood, conflict is already loading quietly. The line that stands out clearly is, "We have to stop it." That statement shifts everything. Because now it is no longer about concern. It is about control. And once control enters a family system, peace starts to break slowly. What makes the story interesting is how natural the emotional conflict feels. It is not forced, it is not exaggerated, it is built gradually from love, fear, and sudden change in lifestyle. Obi, on one side, is simply trying to live his life. He wants to love, he wants to build a future, he wants to expand his happiness beyond just financial success. But on the other side, his family is afraid of losing him emotionally, afraid that someone else will take his attention, afraid that their new life will shift, afraid that their place in his heart may reduce. And that fear is very human. But the problem is when fear begins to influence decisions, because fear does not always think clearly. It reacts, it assumes, it protects aggressively. And that is where misunderstandings are born. At this point in the movie, we can already see two emotional sides forming. One side is growth, love, and expansion. The other side is protection, fear, and control. And both sides believe they are right. Which is exactly why this story is about to get more intense. Because nothing destroys peace faster than two groups who both think they are protecting the same person in different ways. So let me speak directly to you watching this review. What do you think is really happening here? Is Mama simply being protective because she has suffered too much in life and doesn't want her son to be hurt or changed? Or is fear slowly turning into something that could damage the very blessing they are all enjoying? And what about the mystery woman Obi wants to marry? Do you think she is walking into a peaceful home or an already divided emotional space? Drop your thoughts in the comments because this is the type of story that hits differently depending on your perspective. And again, if you enjoyed this breakdown of Noir Mommy, don't forget to subscribe to Flicks and Feels, because this is where we break down Nollywood stories in a way that feels real, emotional, and interactive. And most importantly, go and watch the full movie on O'Neill Alex TV if you haven't already. Then come back here and tell us what you noticed that others might have missed. Because here on Flicks and Feels, we don't just watch movies, we live inside them.